Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Rotoworld Football Show, Tuesday, September 16th, 2025. How is it already so late in the year? I'm Patrick Daugherty, joined by Denny Carter. We're going to break down all the biggest news items coming out of week 2, including a pair of quarterback injuries, one to a superstar, Joe Burrow, one to a very disappointing young player, J.J. McCarthy, but a lot of fallout from both those injuries. The Monday Night Football, both those games, 2 games Monday night, Denny. Not even overlapping at all. One starting at 10 p.m. Eastern. I'm sure you were totally okay with that.
Yeah, definitely stayed up for the first half, and then just pray that my Raiders would get there in the second half, and didn't work out.
I stayed up for the entire game, which means I saw Omarion Hampton lose a fumble in clock killing mode. Never been more over for Omarion, question mark, Denny. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about Ashton Jeanty, also disappointing on the other side. Quentin Johnston, the revival. The revival's a bit strong since he was never good to begin with in the NFL. But Quentin Johnston, a rival, I guess we should say. Justin Herbert, looking like an every week starter. Geno, looking like New York Jets Geno. A lot going on in that Chargers-Raiders game. Bucs, Texans, not as notable. Very notable. The Texans just don't look improved on last year. It's a difficult team to watch. We'll talk about that. Houston's backfield. Anything going on with the Bucs, then we'll preview Thursday night football. Dolphins at Bills. The bookmakers, quote unquote, 12.5 point spread on this game. Denny.
Wow.
The Dolphins are favored. Seems a bit.
You got me for a split second. I was like, what?
They're 0-2. I don't know if they should be 12.5 point favorites in Buffalo. No, the Dolphins.
I like the Bills in that case.
Dolphins almost 2 touchdown dogs on the road. We'll break down that game. We'll break down first, though, Denny, a curious sight from the second game of the Monday Night Football doubleheader. The camera zooming in on someone in the Raiders coaching box who may or may not have a job that requires him to be talking to other teams a lot. Kind of weird. Seeing less conflicting interests is what I posted on the socials Monday night. What am I talking about, Denny? What did we see?
Tom Brady. You may remember him as the greatest Bucs player of all time. I remember him as a Buck primarily, but
Warren Sapp's probably still the greatest Buck of all time.
Mike Allstott, come on. He was seen in the coaching box booth upstairs during the Raiders-Chargers game, and he was grinding, game film on a tablet and talking with coaches, and the cameras pointed up to him. And I don't know if this was just, a coincidence, but my guy Brady immediately slinks down into his chair and looks like he's trying to hide as soon as the camera trains its eye on him. So I feel like he kind of knew maybe that he wasn't supposed to be up there, and certainly wasn't supposed to be seen up there because, like you said, this guy goes into locker rooms for his day job of announcing for Fox, and he interviews players and he talks about schemes and he asks about personnel. Who's going to let him do that? I don't know.
Well, the league is claiming that he doesn't really get to do that. So the messaging all over the map on this one. At first, there was supposedly a blanket ban from taking part in the pre-production meetings, which is just as bad. Like, okay, great. Standard industry procedure to have all these meetings and attend practice. And then the guy calling the biggest game of the week is not allowed to do that. Apparently, some of those restrictions were relaxed this year, but the league in a copium statement is like, you don't understand. He can only attend the meetings remotely. So
yeah.
He's zooming in as he tries to steal all your franchises, secrets and strategies, formations and strategies. Who's hurt? And
I get that he's Tom Brady, and I get that the Raiders have intentionally never really detailed what it is exactly that he does around there. Is he running the front office? Is he helping with the coaching? Is he working with Geno Smith? What is he doing? No one really knows. But seeing him up there, slinking away from the camera when he's helping to coach a game in real time during the game, that was a sight, man. That was almost shocking, honestly.
It was a sight. Brady also wearing a suit in the coaching booth. That was interesting choice by Tom Brady. And my final thought is, I heard Tony La Russa talk about this in the past. I heard old Reds manager, Tigers manager, Sparky Anderson talk about this in the past. Certain people just get different rules. You can be upset about that. It's very upsetting, say, if it's in the government. But some people just have different rules. That's fine. That's life. This one just seems like a really easy one to avoid. Like,
It
you can
does.
either own the Raiders or you can work for Fox. Like,
Right.
I'm really sure. Just too, you could either be really good at one of them or kind of mediocre at both.
At
He's
both.
mediocre
That's
in
right.
the booth.
It's like a pop star who gets bored with singing and making music, so they want to act, right?
Yes,
Or vice versa. I'm bored with acting, so I'm going to make music. But then they become pretty bad at both, right? Or mediocre, like you said, at both. Tom, pick one, man. Just coach a team. Just go coach. Anybody will hire you.
Anything other than what you're doing right now, which was looking very shady in the Raiders coaching booth. Denny, Joe Burrow, the first real big injury of the 2025 fantasy season. I guess we're not surprised considering Joe Burrow's injury history. Ran really hot on the health front last year, all 17 games, but a huge blow. Kind of a weird thing about fantasy is that it's less of a blow for the people who drafted Joe Burrow himself than the people who drafted his supporting cast. Joe Burrow required like actual draft capital this year, but you lose Joe Burrow. That's a frustrating Sunday because you probably lost your matchup. Your season is not over, though. You can stream, blah, blah, blah. You can maybe go out and add Daniel Jones. Much different story if you have Jamar Chase. Real different story if you have T. Higgins. What is the fallout if you were drafting these superstar wide receivers? There's Jake Browning, who, secretly, Denny's not happy Joe Burrow's hurt. No. Denny is very happy that Jake Browning is under center. Denny leads the Jake Browning cheer squad. Real brutally tough schedule his first month under center. What is the fallout for Jake Browning replacing Joe Burrow?
I like Jake Browning, and I hope he does well. I also feel like my theory about Jake Browning probably could start for 8 teams in the league right now. I feel like that's going to be tested real hard over the next month. And I may come out looking silly, or I may come out looking good. Who knows? We'll see.
Denny, do you know his schedule to start? It's at Minnesota, at Denver, versus Detroit. So the easy let-up game is at home against the Lions, where he's going to have to match points in a shootout. Then at Green Bay.
Oh.
So on the road against 3 elite defenses in this next 4 games.
I don't like to hear that. All right, well, we're going to have patience with my guy Jake Browning. So we do know how the Cincinnati offense operates with him because Burrow misses so much time. He missed a lot of 2023. In those starts, Jake Browning started from week 12 on for the Bengals.
Basically the whole holidays, he was like a snowman you put on your front porch. He was a bit of a mascot for the 2023 holiday season.
Right, but the Bengals didn't really change their approach too much. They were 3% over their expected pass rate. They were top 5 in neutral pass rate during that span. And when Burrow went out in this game against Jacksonville on Sunday, the Bengals kept their foot on the neutral pass rate accelerator. Right, I mean they just kept going. We like that. So at least till this offense, these pass catchers should still have volume on their side. And it doesn't hurt, honestly, Pat, that their running game has been so putrid through 2 games. I'm sure they'll talk up a big game, and the announcers in the Bengals game next week will be like, "Oh, the coaches said they really want to establish it with Chase Brown." Well, good luck. I don't know.
Come on, this can stop.
Okay, they're going to try that. They're going to run on first down once, and then. But Chase Brown can get there on route volume and target volume too. So I think it's actually okay. You're going to be okay with Chase, like you said, with Higgins. It's a little different.
So yeah, that's one thing about the Bengals is there's some teams that have the run game in their DNA. The Bengals have never been reading all that, and even when they had Joe Mixon, it was about how many times a game can we target Joe Mixon, and like he cashed in a lot of short yardage touchdowns. They do run the ball there. But this is not a team that wants to run the ball, just full stop. They do not have running in their DNA. They're not planning to do that. So the passing game, it's a Gardner Minshew situation where it'll keep the primary option afloat. I keep saying Jamar Chase, he was the wide receiver 1 to 3 in any given week right now. He's probably now going to be more the wide receiver 5 to 8 in terms of rankings. T. Higgins definitely takes the bigger blow. The Gardner Minshews of the world, they can support one guy. When you start asking them to support 2, it gets much, much, much more difficult. I think T. Higgins, who was on the wide receiver 1-2 borderline, probably now more on that wide receiver 2-3 borderline. Maybe honestly down like the George Pickens zone, where the targets aren't going to be quite what you expect.
Yeah.
But he makes a lot of big plays. He can score a lot of touchdowns. He should remain in your fantasy lineup, but it's just not what you signed up for. is what I think it comes down to with T. Higgins and Jake Browning. And he can support one guy. Asking me to support two, it's like, dude, like, I'm Jake Browning. Like,
I'm a little offended that you're putting my guy Browning in the Gardner Minshew zone.
Oh, well, he wishes he were Gardner Minshew. Let me be clear. Yeah. Gardner Minshew Gardner Minshew is one of the best backup quarterbacks of the past 10 years in the NFL. Like, you want your backup quarterback to be Gardner Minshew. It's like he can come in and win any given game. Jake Browning can win any given game.
I can't believe you're saying this. Like,
he's the platonic ideal of a backup quarterback.
Gardner Minshew is like not even relevant when he starts. Like, Browning can be relevant.
You have to remember, backup quarterbacks are not good. The deal with backup quarterbacks is, can they win a game sometimes? Gardner Minshew has won games for many, many different teams, including the Philadelphia Eagles. I don't know if you heard of them.
That's a scheme team thing.
It's the backup quarterback. You take it for granted they can lose you games. The question is, can they actually win a game sometimes? Gardner Minshew can actually win a game. I think it's a huge compliment for Jake Browning to be compared to Gardner Minshew. One thing I'll say too, a lot of people will be digging in to the Jake Browning 2023 splits late in the season. I would just say it's kind of apples to oranges because the Bengals now, they're 2-0. They should frankly be 0-2. Like, they probably feel pretty lucky to be 0-2 to win both those games. I just feel like they should have lost both those first two games. Where they probably still feel like they have a lot to play for. 2023, they were kind of improbably in the playoff mix, but that was like a dead season at that point. I just think it'd be like a totally different atmosphere and attitude for the second Jake Browning go around, and because the Chase and Higgins splits were not great from 2023 is where I was going with all this. I think they will be better this time.
I mean, the team made great efforts to keep Browning on the roster. He could have gone elsewhere, and I believe competed for a job somewhere. And
competed for a job is pretty strong. If he could compete for a job, he would be competing for a job somewhere. I think he's usually back on.
I think he was a restricted free agent, and they kept him. There's no way to find out, but
it's good backup quarterback logic. Well, I'm saying in general, if there was actual value there, someone would have traded for him. Blah blah blah.
Maybe. I don't feel so bad though, and Browning needs to be picked up in every super flex league, obviously.
Close to 100% outlay, I would feel like, if you had Burrow. If you didn't have Burrow, consider him like a luxury. But
yeah.
By the way, so the Bengals 2-0, like I said, I think they should be 0-2. The Jaguars, it's over. Like, the Jaguars, Joe Burrow attempts 10 passes against you and you don't win the game. Like,
dude.
The hashtag fraud.
And Trevor Lawrence is waving his coach. It's telling him to shush on the sidelines.
They have no clue what to do with Travis Hunter. It's
woof, man. That our millennial GM over there has got to get it together, man.
Yeah, Gladstone. He's in hell right now.
Yeah, he's grinding Madden. I can tell you that.
This is so much harder than it looked. Oh my god.
He needs a haircut.
God, this is hard. So we'll see what happens to James Gladstone and the Jaguars. Usually when you bury someone is when they come back and start doing well. We were burying J.J. McCarthy, Denny. He's played 8 quarters of NFL football. 7 of them, he just frankly has not looked like he belongs on the field.
No.
Just straight up, like, uncomfortably bad play from J.J. McCarthy. And he has an ankle injury. I mean, you and I have been kind of skeptical behind the scenes, but they've shown where he got hurt, supposedly. Adrenaline, I mean this sincerely, is a hell of a drug. You can finish a game when you get hurt. He looked fine to me. He finished the game without issue. He's now hurt, though, after 2 really, really, really poor starts. They're saying a 2 to 4 week timeline. Shockingly, a convenient timeline for Carson Wentz to either sink or swim as the fill-in starting quarterback, Denny. I am skeptical, paranoid, suspicious that if he plays well, he will keep the starting job. What do you think about that? What is the fallout for it? Because we're already getting, Justin Jefferson kind of does this no matter who the quarterback is, but we were getting a lot of 1,000-yard Justin Jefferson stares on Sunday night. What's the fallout? And what do we think about Carson Wentz's odds? Maybe I'm taking it way too far, but Carson Wentz's odds of winning this job.
Justin Jefferson, man, you gotta stop.
The body language probably doesn't matter as much as we think. Matters a little.
I think it matters a lot when the superstar of the team has his shoulders slumped and won't talk to anybody for the whole game, no matter who the quarterback is. And honestly, even if the team's winning, he's not happy unless he's getting the ball. Which you know why? Because he's a receiver, and that's what they do. They don't care about anything except for the targets.
No.
So hopefully Wentz gets him some targets and puts a smile on this guy's face. But Carson Wentz is going to take this job and run with it, and McCarthy's not going to come back.
I mean, I actually do agree, but it's funny to hear you say it so matter of fact.
Yeah, they can't go back to this kid this season. Maybe with some teaching, with some learning, he can get to some sort of like NFL caliber passing. But this is not it, right? 35% of his passes over 2 weeks have been deemed uncatchable. Uncatchable. That's crazy. That's a crazy rate. Okay. It was league high. That's like worse than like Anthony Richardson at his worst. He, like you mentioned in your column, your Sunday Aftermath column, he only passes to the right. Okay. And he never passes to the left. And when he does, it's pick sixth, right? So like, and that's like a classic bad sign, right? That's like a Mitch Trubisky, like, what did we do? Guy can't throw left. He can't throw left. For McCarthy, really, if you're being honest with yourself, you understand it is over. It's not. He can never be the long-term starter here. In fact, he can probably not be an NFL starter going forward for anybody. Wow. And if Wentz doesn't absolutely crap the bed here over the next month, he's going to be the starter for the rest of the season.
Challenge accepted from Carson Wentz.
Sure.
Challenge accepted from Carson Wentz. There's no way Carson Wentz can play bad, and Carson Wentz, they're immediately going to the number 3.
I mean, at least Wentz can push the ball. At least he can throw it.
The McCarthy thing, too, one of my least popular ever tweets. I'm not trying to brag about this, but one of my least popular tweets I've ever had was when J.J. McCarthy was his meniscus or his MCL. Whenever he tore the ligament in August 2024, they announced he was going to miss the season. I basically said, I tried to say in a polite way, like, this could actually be a career death now for J.J. McCarthy, because first off, the track record for any rookie player missing the entire rookie year with injury is like astoundingly bleak. It doesn't really make sense. But if you miss your rookie year with injury, the outcomes are almost uniformly terrible.
Right.
Like for every Travis Kelce who missed his entire rookie year with injury, there's like 100 washouts. And quite literally, I don't think in the history of the league there had ever been a first-round quarterback miss their entire season with injury ever.
No, they had
so it's uncharted career territory already to begin with. And for McCarthy, he was the QB5 in his own draft class. Like, so he was already going to be judged, I feel like, on less of a curve than a lot of first, because he was coming into a good team. He was the QB5. He was supposed to be like a win now type pick because he's a winner, blah, 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 all that. And he was already going to be graded differently. Like, that was a crushing blow. And then just coming out and just not looking ready.
No.
It's crazy. You don't ever want that to happen. Like, he looked, it was the classic, like, uncomfortable to watch. Like, man, like, this is nuts.
You are speaking of the week 1 FedEx player of the week, though.
I know.
You have to remember that.
I know.
What was it? FedEx NFC quarterback, NFC North quarterback of the week?
It was NFC player of the week.
Good.
NFC.
Great. How did that happen?
I don't know. It's gonna be the only player of the week award anyone ever remembers because of how nuts it was. But anyways, yeah, it's not great. And Carson Wentz, you never want Carson Wentz to be the good news, but I think he is good news for the Viking skill players right now.
All right, let me ask you this. In Superflex, do you take Wentz over Browning? I do.
I do not know. I think this week I'll probably take Wentz.
Just purely because of the rushing.
Well, do you know that Wentz? Do you remember this about late period Wentz? He like thinks he's a runner. Did you remember this?
I know. No. He runs like crazy.
Oh, you're saying Wentz. I was like, yeah, Browning doesn't run. Okay.
No. Browning can't move at all. But like, Wentz could do 8 rushes a game.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's unruly. He thinks he's a runner for some.
I know it's crazy. It is crazy because it's so ugly. First of all,
it's very ugly. It's very unruly. It's unbecoming. But he does it. So I don't know. Hopefully, we didn't just bury J.J. McCarthy too much there. But it had been a while since I'd seen that big of a fiasco.
Oh, come on. I mean, we just got to be honest about it. There are no positives.
Because even Anthony Richardson would hit a deep ball or like, all right, I'm going to go truck somebody. Like there was good stuff that would happen.
Anthony Richardson would hit a fall away 65-yarder to Alec Pierce down the sideline into a bucket. Like J.J. McCarthy cannot do that. Can't even if he stepped into it, he couldn't throw it 60 yards.
The Bears defense, by the way, has got to be like they're catching a lot of strays right now because the one good quarter happened to come against the Bears defense and happened to give the game away. We'll talk about that more and more as we go. The Vikings crazy situation. Now we're on to Monday Night Football. We were just very negative about the Vikings. Going to be even more negative about some of these players because Omarion Hampton, 8 carries. Like, you know, he was playing snap. He's doing cardio in the first half. You know, like he's out there getting snaps. They're not giving him the ball like ever. He ends up with 8 carries, as many as Najee Harris. He rushes for fewer yards than Najee Harris. The unforgivable, the classic. They get the ball back with like 3.5 minutes, where it's like any announcer, their first canned cliche line, like they just can't turn the ball over here.
Yeah, that's the one.
Omarion Hampton, after Denny goes to sleep, Omarion Hampton immediately fumbles in clock killing mode for the Chargers. He's not heard from again. Najee Harris then closes out the game. He looks stiff. He looks very, very linear. Just what the word Sigmund Bloom used. How concerned are I'm very concerned about Omarion Hampton. How concerned should we be?
I didn't know this guy was so slow.
I know, what's the deal?
When did he become slow?
How do you get in the first round when you're?
He looks like here's what we were saying on text today. He looks like a guy, a veteran who's coming off like a catastrophic injury, and you're like, oh, of course he's slow in week 1 and 2. Like he's still getting his feet under him, but he's a rookie without any real major injury history, right?
Yes.
So here's some stats if you want them. He has the 4th highest stuff rate in the league through 2 games. He's 24th out of 47 qualifying running backs in yards after contact per rush. One silver lining, he ranks 16th out of 47 running backs in missed tackles per carry. You know, so he's dodging guys, I guess. He's only running around on 56% of the dropbacks, and he's seeing a target on only 10% of those routes. That's not good. You know, that's a forgettable profile in fantasy.
It's just such a missed opportunity too. Is what I think. Najee Harris wasn't ready to play week 1. He wasn't conditioned. You know, talk about trust. Hard to see how he would have the coaching staff trust after he made a poor decision off the field, I guess. Couldn't participate in training camp. You know, a new team. That's your first impression of the team is that Najee's not out there because of something that happened not on the football field. We have a first round running back. Every opportunity to just bury Najee Harris, take the job and run with it. Instead, he just does the exact opposite. That's maybe the worst part is he had a chance to like end this.
He did.
Instead he began it. Like now it's competition mode. Like he's truly fighting for work now. When
that late game fumble, it probably shouldn't matter as much as it will.
Yes.
But we certainly know, you know, coaches really dwell on that stuff, and especially old school coaches like Harbaugh. So I wouldn't be surprised if that plays a factor. You know, if we saw something like Najee Harris gets the first drive in week 3, I wouldn't be that surprised.
I wouldn't be that surprised either.
You know, and so that's pretty bleak. I will say, in the midst of all this, you know, struggling for the Chargers on the ground, the Chargers are leading the league by a comfortable margin in neutral pass rate. They're well over their expected pass rate. Like that could fuel volume that could make things real fun for Keenan Allen, Quentin Johnston, and eventually Ladd McConkey once he gets involved.
Well, so let's talk about that a little more right now. By the way, the former host of the show, Josh Norris, said something I can't unhear, where he compared Omarion Hampton to Latavius Murray.
Aye.
Sometimes that would be okay. Well, Latavius Murray is maybe the most linear runner like in recent fantasy football history.
I don't like that.
Nothing side. No, he was making it unfavorable, by the way. Let me be clear. He was not saying this is a good thing, Josh. And that sounded very real to me. Like I could see him as Latavius Murray.
Yeah, he looks too big. Somehow.
Too big. He's just too big. So yeah, Justin Herbert is rocking and rolling. This is what they were doing down the stretch last year, Denny. The pass rate over expected. The pro-y was off the charts down the stretch. We wondered if that would maintain after the 4 interception fiasco, after they used a first round pick on a running back. But Harbaugh has seen the light, apparently. Greg Roman has seen the light. They want to be pass first. They want to unleash Justin Herbert. Another thing Sigmund Bloom said to me is like, it seemed like they were trying to build – they spent the offseason trying to build Justin Herbert up to be a superstar, like trying to get him to like unleash himself, basically. Like, you can do this. And after 2 games, he's doing this. Is he back to being a QB1? He was a volume-based QB1 before Harbaugh got to town. Last year, he was not a QB1. The volume will probably never be quite what it was back in the Halcyon Justin Herbert days. But what about right now?
I think if in 12-team leagues, you have to start him every week.
You do.
He's averaging 4.5 rushing attempts through 2 games per game, I should say. That's a nice little add-on, and he does have the potential for rushing touchdowns. He runs in the red zone, along with aggressive throwing. Like, his adjusted yards per attempt has increased pretty significantly since last year. The whole thing that we said in the offseason about Keenan Allen is bad for Justin Herbert. Turns out that was wrong, because
half right, where we said he would immediately make him the number 1 receiver,
and he has.
He has done that.
But Keenan Allen it's working so far. We'll see. I mean, Keenan Allen's not a young man. We'll see. And Quentin Johnston, I'm going to have him in the regression files this week because he's running red hot. But he is involved enough. He's running like 70% of the routes. So I think the Chargers, if you're playing your Chargers, you want them to be pass catchers at this point. I honestly, like, with just getting back to Hampton, like, I feel like you're trying to find a way not to play him.
You are. No, you can't. You actually just can't play him in week 3, which is a catastrophic outcome. If you're using a 3rd, 4th, 5th round pick, whatever it was on him, like, it's a catastrophic outcome. You cannot. There's no case to play him this week, like, because Jim Harbaugh's a little different. Jim Harbaugh thinks differently than most coaches, but I just don't. I feel like we're just not. Why would we expect a commitment to Omarion Hampton this week after they're already not committing to him? Then he does that. Then they're playing the Broncos.
It's crazy because I know it's early. I know everyone, 2 games. Okay. But you don't want to play Ashton Jeanty. You don't want to play Hampton, and you don't want to play Travion Henderson.
Well, we're going to be playing Jeanty. We're going to get to that in just a second. Let's put the Chargers to bed. As Quentin Johnston arrived, I've seen people victory lapping Quentin Johnston. Like, all right, social media used to be fun. Like, this is dumb now. Like, people victory lapping Quentin Johnston. But I mean, 7 targets back-to-back games. He's making big plays. The thesis of the Quentin Johnston draft pick is finally paying off for the Chargers, at least through 2 games. Is he arrived as like a weekly wide receiver 3-4 in fantasy, or is he just still destined to be really streaky, really boom bust? Denny?
The guy has 3 touchdowns on 8 receptions this year. So yeah, it's boom bust. He's not running all the routes. Of course, that matters a little less. That poor route participation matters less when you get so many dropbacks from Justin Herbert. Because then like a 70% route rate on the Chargers is like 120% route rate on the Eagles. So you got to remember that. But you're probably playing him. Yeah, I think he's flex worthy. In 12-team formats. I'm really excited, honestly, about Keenan Allen and McConkey whenever he kind of gets with it.
Are you worried about McConkey? People, the masses seem worried. They seem worried about
only saw a target on 15% of his routes against the Raiders. It's really low. I have to say, though, Kyle Dvorak laid out such a strong case for McConkey a couple times in the offseason that I have to believe that this corrects itself. So you should still feel good about starting him, I think.
We still, especially if nothing else, with the volume being even higher than we could have ever hoped.
Yes.
At the very least, Ladd should remain like in the wide receiver 18 to 22 range, and being a low end wide receiver 1 is still quite possible. But so Ashton Jeanty, not at the crisis level Omarion Hampton is. Let me be clear. I don't know if you agree with this or not, but I mean, not great when Dylan Laubie's getting 2-minute drill snaps.
No.
I'll say. But the commitment to Ashton Jeanty is still much more robust than the commitment to Omarion Hampton. I think he also looks better. He's looking linear himself, but he's looking as advertised, I feel like, in the strength department. He's very big, not very productive so far. How worried are you about Ashton Jeanty?
Yeah, so the whole Dylan Laube thing is concerning because Jeanty on Monday night against the Chargers ran a route on only 37% of Geno Smith's dropbacks. He had 3 catches for 1 yard. I don't really know how that happens, but yes, 3 catches for 1 yard. Like Hampton, he's actually breaking tackles. He's top 7 in missed tackles forced per rush. Yards after contact, he's pretty bad, 35th out of 47. So the peripherals are not very kind to him. This Raiders offensive line is struggling in more than one way. So I feel like Jeanty has to be involved in the pass game if he's going to do anything for us right now. And so if Laube comes in or if someone else comes in and chops off 30 or 40% of his route participation, that's a problem.
It's a problem, but unlike Omarion Hampton, I don't think there's any case to bench Ashton Jeanty right now. I think last night it was 11 carries. That's probably his absolute carries floor. I mean, famous last words, especially after the way Geno Smith played, though. Oof. Like Pete Carroll's probably, we got to get Ashton Jeanty going because they do got to get Ashton Jeanty going. They're probably playing Marcus Mariota this Sunday. They're playing the Bears in week 4. Ashton Jeanty, it could be like all season long. Be like, wow, this is not what I drafted in the first or second round. But unlike Omarion Hampton right now, I don't think you'll ever consider removing Ashton Jeanty from your lineup. That's just what I'll say on this situation. He looks very strong and powerful. He looks kind of big.
He had I will say, Hampton has not had a single run this season where you're like, oh, I get it. Yeah. Jeanty had a couple runs last night where you're like, oh, okay.
Yes, exactly.
I understand.
One reason that, it's hard for anyone to shine on the Raiders right now is Geno. I mean, about his worst 2-game stretch, even against the Patriots, he was not overly impressive. He was just a fiasco against the Chargers. The Chargers, in Geno's defense, are looking like maybe like Packers South, like it could be like the surprise, quote unquote, like elite defense of the year. Like they could end up the best defense in the AFC, maybe, although Khalil Mack broke his arm. That's not good. But Geno, not off to a good, very inauspicious Raiders start, Denny. Age, sacks catching up with them. Kind of a cursed marriage with Pete Carroll, something that we didn't need to run back. What do you think's going on?
The one thing that Geno had going for him, and the one thing that has endeared him in the hearts of nerds everywhere, is that he's so accurate. Just by any measure, he's such an accurate passer of the ball. So far through 2 games, Geno Smith is 26th in on-target rate. That's in line with Cam Ward and Bryce Young. He's 27th out of 35 qualifying quarterbacks in completion rate over expected. He is pushing the ball downfield, which is nice. I mean, I guess that's nice eventually if he starts connecting with them. But the accuracy has fallen off a cliff. Both from a clean pocket and from against pressure. It's not a good sign. It's not. If it makes me feel like for fantasy, he's like a desperation super flex and nothing more right now.
Well, I think he needs a deep target of some kind. He loves to throw deep.
Thornton.
And he does. He's not established deep target. He's got options. He needs to get a rapport going with a deep target. I think would make life easier for Geno. Take some of the pressure off the short to intermediate throws, because at heart, he likes to be going down the field. And I feel like that's maybe the biggest problem is he's just got nothing going down the field right now. He did against the Patriots.
I just want to mention Deontay Thornton has a team leading 30% of the air yards through 2 games. Brock Bowers and Jacoby Myers are second and third in close proximity. Bowers and Myers are both being targeted at high rates. They both are being targeted on 25% of their routes. So I think things can click. Maybe the Chargers, like you said, Pat, maybe the Chargers are just really good.
I think that is part of it. Where, you and I have been Geno skeptics for a while, but the Chargers just kind of look like a bully right now. And so hopefully that's part of it for Geno. We went long on that game. We'll have to talk about. When we come back, we'll break down the Bucs and we'll preview the Dolphins and the other team that they're playing.
Bills.
This Sunday night, Patrick Mahomes and the 0-2 Chiefs take a road trip to New York City where they face the Giants in a primetime showdown. Coverage begins at 7 p.m. Eastern on NBC and Peacock. I want to say New York City. Of course, that means where they're flying into. They're, of course, playing in New Jersey, Denny. Were you going to smear Patrick Mahomes?
I was going to say, Russ, if you're listening, finish them. Finish them. End it.
So everyone's tired of the Chiefs. It seems like my palpable heavy sense watching Chiefs Eagles. No offense to anyone out there, was God, tired of the Eagles. Like
you're tired of the Eagles?
Yeah. Oh man, I'm finally, after all these years, against the tush push. I'm like Sunday. I was like, enough. And this is not real football. The game cannot be hinging on this. Like enough. Enough. And if you're going to be an elite team, I'm sorry, you got to complete a pass occasionally. You're not even doing anything cool in the run game so far this year. Like, if you're not going to pass, you got to do something cool in the run game. But if you're going to be elite, you've got two amazing receivers actually pass the ball. Like,
40,
enough.
Listen to this, Pat. 45 pass attempts over 2 games for the Eagles.
0 passing touchdowns, I know, but like the games cannot be hinging on the tush push. I'm done. I'm done.
You're done? Okay.
I'm done. I'm tired of seeing games decided by the tush push.
Then you would not have liked AJ Barner, the tight end too for Seattle, doing a tush push against the Steelers to get a critical first down.
I love tush pushes to other teams because they just fail instantly, almost always.
Oh no, this worked. No one is stopping. AJ Barner is enormous. Good Lord.
Gosh, we cannot have this contagion spreading. I'll say that. Denny, speaking of contagions, whatever ailed the Texans in 2024, just carrying over to 2025, they almost won. They've almost won twice, but they lost to the Rams. They lost to the Bucs. This one at home. They're 0-2. Same problems. Just, everyone's, the line is so bad. I don't know. Is the quarterback making the line look this bad? I don't really know. The Texans are a very difficult team to watch. Like I was just saying, like the Eagles are difficult to watch. The Texans are a tough watch.
Well, because they don't know who they are.
No, they don't.
There's no identity. They want to be tough. They want to be a grinded out team, but then they're like, oh wait, we have a quarterback who we invested a lot in, and he's going to be our quarterback for the next 10 years, no matter what. So maybe we should let him cook once in a while. I am so tired of NFL fans saying, if a quarterback doesn't get perfect protection on every drop back, then you cannot blame him.
I know.
The best quarterbacks in the league have low, what we call pressure to sack ratios, right? Where Josh Allen, for instance, is sacked on 9% of his pressures. That's crazy low. Patrick Mahomes, 10%. Okay.
I was going to say, say it.
Mahomes. I said it. Lamar, very low. Anyway, you go up the list.
I feel like I've never seen Lamar get sacked.
I don't think I have.
Anyways, sorry.
So it's 0%, I guess. You go up the list and you start seeing some suspect quarterbacks, and then among those is CJ Stroud. He doesn't get rid of it. He doesn't move around. Also, honestly, can we just be honest with it? He just doesn't deliver critical throws. Like on big third downs, 3rd and 7s, 3rd and 10s, he just doesn't do it. He looks like to me
the Trevor Lawrence principle.
Yeah. Here's what it looks like to me. CJ Stroud looks like he's throwing darts. And I don't mean that in a good way. I mean the way that you throw a dart when you've had 4 beers in a bar. That's how he throws the football. I'm not a quarterback's coach. I know that that's not right though.
No, it's not. And yeah, the identity crisis is very, very palpable with the Texans. And why do they have 8 different receivers? Like, why is Justin Watson on the field? Like, why did you draft the 2 rookies, but then you're playing Justin Watson, you're playing Xavier Hutchinson, like you're going to be playing Christian Kirk a lot. Like, why were you playing Dare Ogunbowale in week 1 when you used a 4th round pick and a 3rd down back? Woody Marks at least seemed like he took that role over maybe a Monday night. We're about to talk about that, but like figure something out. Like you got to figure some, and like, if the quarterback's going to be inaccurate right now, like do a different game plan. It's not working. It's not working.
Many are saying PFF Bobby did nothing wrong.
I'm not saying
Nothing.
I'm not
totally vindicated.
Yeah. Everything was fine. Now he's falling apart because of PFF Bobby. Whatever's ailing Stroud was seeded by PFF Bobby. Stroud will rebound. Yeah, Woody Marks now the Texans RB2, Denny. Was that just a 1 week? Like, all right, we tried that. We're never doing that again. Daugherty, Gunbowale, whatever. Is it the RB2?
By the way, I like that Nick Chubb needs a miracle 25-yard touchdown to get to 13 fantasy points.
I know. It was a miracle, too. I was like, is he going to get caught?
Chubb is down horrific. Yeah, so let's see. Woody Marks ran 7 routes to 9 routes for Nick Chubb on Monday night. Woody Marks saw 3 rushes to 12 for Chubb. The Texans offensive line seems actually, the metrics say that they're okay with run blocking as far as like yards before contact and all that. So it's not the worst environment, but at least Woody Marks has some juice.
Yeah. This offense desperately needs some juice.
It needs some juice, man. This guy has more life in his legs right now than Nick Chubb has in a long time. They got to get the ball to this guy more. He's one of the most prolific. Woody Marks is one of the most prolific pass-catching backs to come out of college in recent memory. So, get him the ball.
Get him the ball. They sort of did Monday night. Hopefully, they do more going forward. Anything interesting with the Bucs? They actually looked a little crisper last night than they did in week 1 against a really, really good Texans defense. Egbuka had a drop. It would have been a somewhat difficult catch. Mike Evans was on Derek Stingley Island. Mike Evans, when they put a shadow on him, he's kind of like, he kind of shadow boxes. He's just kind of out there fighting air. Never really
you can tell he hates it.
He absolutely despises being shadowed. Like it royally bleeps him off, and it doesn't make him play better. It makes him play poorly. Anything interesting with the Texans?
I mean, look, Egbuka, I'm just going to be real with you. He's getting away with it. He's just getting. But you know what, though? Here's the thing. Baker Mayfield gets away with it every week, so why shouldn't Egbuka? It makes sense. The two being so intertwined. He has 8 catches this year and 3 touchdowns on only 13 targets. He's running all the routes, which is nice, but he's not commanding targets at a high rate. You're excited. You feel good. I'm just telling you that, darker days are coming, I think, for your guy, Egbuka.
I don't know. Baker, he's an old fat. It's not all about compiling. It is about just hitting the right throws at the right time.
If Mayfield is the first guy who can defy mathematics, then Egbuka should cook all year.
They used to always do this, though, because it didn't used to be about 45 attempts. It would be you get 30 shots, you hope you complete 15 of them, and you hope 9 or 10 of them are really cool. That's kind of the style Baker plays. It's kind of the style Jordan Love plays. It's more of a 70s, 80s style of quarterbacking.
I worry about this is the second show in a row where you've tried to bring back 80s football, 90s football. It's not happening.
Elway ball.
And that's why you hate the tush push. I get it now. I get it. I see what's happening. Elder millennial reaches back for his glory years. So I do worry about Egbuka when Chris Godwin comes back at this point. I thought Egbuka was going to be way more dominant than he is right now as far as targets go.
The first round receiver only scoring 3 touchdowns in 2 games is real rough.
I'm not banking on touchdowns. That's all.
It's tough. The scoring, every 4th time he touches the ball. Like you say, it's unsustainable. I say it's a first round pick doing his job.
16% target per route rate. That's like worse than Ricky Pearsall, and Ricky Pearsall's not good.
Yeah, we'll see. Godwin, when he comes back, we'll see what happened. But the Bucs, they got the dub. We're taking a short break. We'll be back to end the show talking Dolphins Bills. Tune in to NBC Sports Now for all the biggest stories in sports, beginning at 7 a.m. Eastern with PFT Live, followed by the Dan Patrick Show, the Dan Lebitard Show with Stu Gatz, Fantasy Football Happy Hour, and Chris Sims Unbuttoned. The NBC Sports Now channel is available on Peacock, the Roku channel, Samsung TV Plus, and more. Visit NBCSports.com/now for more details. Miami Dolphins, Denny. They're going to Buffalo. By the way, we used to be a proper country. You don't send the Dolphins to Buffalo in September.
No,
man.
You send them there Christmas week.
Yes.
And you make sure that they lose 45-3.
We want theater. We want doom. We want the game over before they even get off the bus. And it already is this week, according to the Las Vegas odds makers. But we want doom. The Dolphins can never play in Buffalo when it's warm.
No.
But they are. And yeah, the bookmakers are still saying doom. 12.5 points. The Dolphins, though, they did something in week 2. They actually did stuff. They had yards. They had catches. They had a few touchdowns. I keep bringing up Sigmund Bloom because I just went on a show. I made this comparison to Sig about the Dolphins offense where, like a picture of a picture of a picture like degrades as it goes. Yeah. Like an MP3 file, like every time it was copied, like the audio quality would get a little less.
Yeah, you can't even hear the bass now.
Exactly. That's what I feel like the Dolphins offense is, where it's still like recognizably the same thing from a few years ago, but it's like a picture of a picture of a picture. Whatever. They actually did some stuff in week 2. Are they going to do anything in week 3, Denny? And what did they do in week 2?
I mean, they fed Devon Achane, who could have had a bigger game. My DFS lineups wish he had. If he hadn't stepped out of bounds on that.
Nothing to smile about in my DFS life.
I almost had a lot to smile about with that one, but anyway. So it's the Achane go Burr machine pretty much right now. Tyreek Hill, he's being targeted on about 23% of his routes, which is a pretty big increase from last year. With Geno Smith being gone, I guess that means everything to a guy like Tyreek somehow. It's still not working. I mean, Tyreek or Tua missed Tyreek a couple times against whoever they played last week.
He didn't request a trade though. They played the Colts. Oh no, that was week 1. I don't know who the Dolphins.
Yeah, who did they play last week? Broncos.
No, it wasn't the Broncos. I wish Adam hadn't told us. I wish we had to sit here and figure it out. They lost to the Patriots.
Okay, hey, so you know what? The Dolphins actually, I think, have a counter in their locker room. It says days since Tyreek requested a trade, and it's sitting at 4 right now.
I know. I was gonna say stunning growth that he did not request.
Okay, we might be able to get to 7. Who knows? Here. So he's playable. Achane is just getting a crazy workload. Like, it's so good. You got to be so happy. The thing is, it doesn't even matter if the Dolphins are good. Achane's is going to get there. Yeah. But in this game, like, I feel like you're going to try not to play Waddle, right?
No, fire him up. Who cares?
Yeah.
Two touchdown underdogs. I mean, they're going to score points. There's going to be dumb. The Bills are not. They're going to be not even trying in the second half. It'll be fine.
Yeah, I wouldn't be.
Denny, I almost is this going to be closer than we think? No. Josh Allen busted nose, short week. Every game is Waterloo now for the Dolphins. Like, they got a lot more to lose in this game than the Bills do.
No, it's not going to be. It's not going to be close. And you know how I know? Did you see how broken our guy Mike McDaniel was after the game?
It's not to laugh.
He was like, to win, you just have to not to lose and win. And I'm like, can somebody drag this guy away from a microphone?
Stop! It's bad.
And can someone talk to him? Is anyone talking to Mike McDaniel about his troubles? It's terrible.
Less expensive sunglasses, less expensive hoodies, man. Like, you're a football coach. Totally naive to think you could win wearing what you're wearing. Like, I'm sorry, you're a football coach, man. Like, I know you live in Miami.
As soon as you went with the curly hair and the $700 shades, it was over.
It was over. God only knows how much his hoodies cost. But yeah, he's got to stop talking. We'll stop talking about the Dolphins offense. Bills receivers, I don't know, kind of stalemate so far.
Bills bottom 5 in neutral pass rate through 2 games. They were not even super pass heavy against the Ravens. Like, that was just game script and having to come back through 2 games. It's all over the place. Listen, nobody has a route participation rate of over 75%. Keon Coleman is at the top. Josh Palmer's run a route on 66%. Khalil Shakir is at 70%. Khalil Shakir has 9 targets through 2 games. 9.
Yikes!
It's fewer than Dalton Kincaid, who has 10.
Oof.
I honestly, Pat, there's nothing to see here with the Bills pass catchers. I mean, you're just hoping for a big play if you're playing Keon Coleman. But like someone was asking me last week, and I totally get this. I'm not no shaming about start sits, right? But someone was asking, how can I play George Pickens over Keon Coleman? And I said, you have to play George Pickens over Keon Coleman. Like Coleman, his week 1, that's it. That'll never happen again. I hope you enjoyed it. If you had him in your lineup, it's never
anything that happens once will happen twice, I'll say.
All right, Oppenheimer. I don't, but these Bills receivers are in for a world of hurt because they're just not going to have volume on their side, obviously.
No, they don't. It is a rotation. I will say Keon will hang around, I think, the top 40, maybe even the wide receiver 3 borderline, where I think he's kind of a deluxe Gabe Davis. Like, it's a role they really want in this offense.
They do.
Famously, he pounded the table, Josh Allen, to draft Keon Coleman. So I think Keon Coleman is just going to have to accept that there's going to be weeks like this week where the
Shakir thing is pretty depressing.
The Shakir thing is depressing. And Shakir and Palmer are just like canceling each other out, I think. Like, it's too similar.
Yeah. Man, if Kincaid could ever get a better route participation rate, he could cook, but he's just not good.
It'll never happen because he's not good. Final thing, James Cook, big time summer regression candidate, not regressing so far. 3 touchdowns for 2 games, still only playing 52% of the snaps. Anything
we'll see about that. Yeah. Hey, try to score a touchdown against the Dolphins, James goes, and he scores 3.
Yeah, I know. He'll be halfway to his 2024 total after Thursday.
You know what, though? Eventually, if he plays in the NFL long enough, eventually regression will come. So watch out. He's nothing to say there. He's a smash for week 3. That goes without saying. All right, I guess we're done. Yeah,
we were kind of relaxed today. Well, that was good. It was a really good show, I thought.
Yeah. And listen, to the Vikings fans out there, walk your dog on Sundays, maybe play a little golf.
Vikings fans? No, they're back. Carson Wentz, quarterback, they're back.
Okay. Never
You're
mind.
talking to Bears fans. Bears fans, because now Bears fans, they have hope because they're playing the Cowboys this week. Have no hope.
Oh,
have no
excuse
hope.
me. The Cowboys are going to win easily. Let's be clear about that. Let
hope.
me be clear.
No, I think the Bears will probably win, but you don't want to watch the game and get your hopes up, though. Bears fans. Bears fans just need to give up. They really, just give up. It's over. It doesn't matter who the coach, the GM, the quarterback is. It's finally over. Your team, it's just never happening.
On that note,
this show is not happening because it's over. Check out the regression files from Mr. Denny Carter. Check out his funnel report later this week. Check out my Sunday aftermath if you're wondering what happened in week 2. Check out my rankings if you want to know what to do in week 3. So for Denny, I'm Pat. We'll be back with Kyle on Thursday. Thank you for listening.